Hello everyone, this is Robert, and as you can see, I've decided to fill out almost all of this pegboard with my little modular screwdriver holder, and as you can see towards the end, I have a couple new holders as well. I really liked the screwdriver holder, so I decided to add some more, and I decided to give this a new name, which is called Peggit. All of these use the same clip mechanism from the screwdriver holder, and now you can do a lot more with it. So let's take a closer look at Peggit. If you didn't see my previous video on the screwdriver holder or are new to my channel, welcome. Peggit is a really simple system that just uses these little clips. You attach these clips to your pegboard with two automotive push rivets. So you just push them in, that attaches it to the pegboard. Any pegboard with a 1-inch hole spacing should work for this. Then once you have the clip attached, you can just simply snap in the tool holder, and it's as simple as that. The thing that I like about pegboard so much is the ability to kind of move and rearrange everything, so this system makes that really easy. I've also included all of the design files for the clip and the mounting bracket and everything else, so you can find that all on printables in the link down below. That being said, let's look at the new models that I've designed. In addition to the standard 10-inch screwdriver rails that I have, I decided to make a smaller 5-inch version. This just uses 6 magnets instead of the 12 magnets that these use, but it stacks up on the same kind of spacing. So let's say you have a long run of the 10-inch but don't really have room, you can throw a 5-inch in there. Sometimes 10 won't fit, but 5's generally going to be just fine. This is also nice for smaller bits, and I'm actually using one of these in the vertical position to store my small set of precision screwdrivers, which just don't really need a full 10-inch rail. So yeah, these are pretty handy. In addition to the 10-inch and the 5-inch, there is also a 12-inch long rail as well. I designed it specifically for this set of Allen drivers. The metric fit perfectly fine on the 10, but I needed that extra 2 inches for the fractional set. As you can also see, there is a little bit of color down the middle to identify the metric and the fractional. If you just do a manual layer change at 16 to 18 millimeters, it'll give you 2 millimeters of a color stripe down the middle. This isn't in the model, this is just something you can do in the slicer. Couple of notes about the 12-inch rail. I originally was going to do everything as a 12-inch rail, but because of the way the magnets work, this is 5 magnets by 3, so there's 15 magnets in there. You can't easily chop it in half. So the 10-inch and the 5-inch play well together, but if you do a 10-inch next to the 12-inch, you'll see this 3/4 inch gap in between them. You can easily stack a 12 and a 12, and you can do a 5 and a 10 and a 10 and a 10, but if you do a 10 or 5 and a 12, there'll always be a little bit of a gap, so you won't get a continuous rail. So keep that in mind. For holding 1/4-inch screwdriver bits, I have 2 different variants. These are both 5 inches long. I have this one which holds your standard longer bits. There's a little feature here at the back that these fit nicely into. And then for your standard 1/4-inch bits, I have a little holder that just has a rib down the middle, and that holds up to 20. This holds 10. But what about extensions? I never really had a good place for my extensions or my longer bits until now. These little holders can hold up to 4, and you can see that you can get some pretty long ones on here. These use the standard magnets that everything else uses. They do have a slightly different end cap, but that can be printed separately. And yeah, these can even be stacked side by side. I just have them spaced for aesthetic reasons, but that is the long or extension bit holder. Throughout the process of designing these and designing all the holders, I've been moving stuff around on my pegboard quite a bit. And I have a couple tips and tricks for you, because once you kind of attach these and push them in, it's actually kind of hard to pull them back out. It definitely works, but you kind of want the flexibility to shift stuff around and kind of organize everything. Even though these look like screw heads, they're not. It looks like there's kind of a thread on these pins. There is not. They don't screw out. I always get that comment, but they're just to be pressed in. So there's a couple tips here. you don't have to use these pins. You can actually use a 3/4 inch 832 screw. Just put them in, just a standard machine screw, put them in, put it where you want, grab your favorite driver, and then watch on the back side. Look at that. Held in place just fine. And the beautiful thing about this is now we can just reverse them back out. So this took me way too long to realize. These pegs suck, but you can just use a 3/4 inch 832 machine screw and that works out really well. The other thing that I learned is when positioning these, sometimes you just kind of want to look at everything and kind of get an idea and move things around. You might not want to securely fasten it each time. So what I've been doing is just leave the pegs in there. I don't have any pins or anything. And you can just kind of do this. I know it seems kind of obvious, but you can just kind of move it around, look at it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not sure about that one. Let's go with that. And then when you're happy with it, you can just kind of slide it off and then add your screws in. So you don't have to fully secure these in place every single time. You can just kind of do one of these things, snap it in place, get a feel for where it is, and then just slide it out and then secure it in place. So just a couple tips and tricks I've learned. I do realize it's a little bit cliche for a content creator to have a named storage or organization solution like Peggit, but one, I wanted it to be named something so that it'd be easier to find, so you could kind of figure out the ecosystem of it, because I'm going to be designing a lot more stuff around that clip system because it works well for me. But when I started this whole thing, I just hated my screwdriver storage. It was just one of those things that every time I reached for a screwdriver, they would all kind of fall over. So it was something that I wanted to fix, something that I wanted to make better, and I just kind of ended up, with this clip system. It's fun for me. I know a lot of people in the last comments were talking about like, oh, the other solutions seem perfectly fine. Well, for me, they weren't. I wanted something different. And I do have all the design files on printables. I have the receiver and the clip, so you can kind of design that into whatever it is that you want to make. I'm definitely going to be making more designs, so be on the lookout for updates in the future. And this is completely free. Remix it, share it, do whatever you want with it. I don't care. I'm not trying to get rich off of this. So as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Check the links down below. Bye.